Hey guys, Mitch here. Just out on a day hike today. Gonna go have a picnic and enjoy the day with family. One thing that people tend to forget about the desert is that it's actually useful. I remember reading somewhere that there's as much stuff in the desert as there is in like a rainforest. However, you just gotta know where to look. It's a little bit harder. It's just not gonna be as rewarding, but there's still the same amount of risks. There's uses for just about everything out here. There's plenty of kindling. You can make rope for most of the Joshua trees out here, like you see behind me. And it's just really enjoyable. Like, there's use for pretty much anything. So, like right here, there's some cow poop because this is just ranch land out here. And it's actually used for this too. I'll show you this later. Really easy to get a fire started with this stuff, so this is great. And I'm just going to share some of my knowledge and share some of the wild edibles out here, as well as just some scenery. So stick with me. Probably one of the most useful plants out here is the Joshua tree. It has so many uses. You can actually make needles out of these thorns, these barbs on here, and you can make rope and all that. Probably what's most interesting, this is seasonal, are these little pods, which you can grow up. There's seeds in them. And you can actually eat these. You can grow them on the fire. They'll make you sick if you eat them raw. And especially if they're green, they're like have a consistency of a tomato. So yeah, that's a little tidbit. One thing to always remember, this is pretty much true for about everywhere you go in the world, is if you can hear the lower wildlife, like the stuff on the bottom of the food chain, like the birds, you're pretty safe. I mean, the birds are going to be quiet when there's predators around so they don't become a target. But hearing those birds lets me know that I'm safe. I mean, there could still be things, but there's nothing big like a coyote or a mountain lion around. And this is that seed pod I picked up back there. And the desert really caters to the environment itself. Like, the environment will give you stuff that's mobile, because to survive in the desert, you need to have a very mobile and dynamic way of surviving. Otherwise, if you're not willing to adapt, you'll die. And that's one of the problems with desert survival, is if you get lost in your off-roading, which happens a lot out here, people will come, because we're close to Vegas, and the tourists will come out here and they're not prepared for what's out here, and they'll get stuck. And when they get stuck, they're like, oh, I can walk out. But that's not the case. You're always supposed to stay with your car. It is much more visible than you. It's about 100 times more visible than you are from the air. And it's reflective, which is just great. It has the visibility and the contrast because it doesn't belong. Whereas you, for me example, I'm just wearing my brown clothes for out here. I can't be seen. And back to the whole mobile dynamics of it. These seed pods, I can pick a couple up, stick them in my pocket, and keep going and foraging off the land. So far I've picked up that cow turd for fire. I picked up this for food if I needed to. Eat it, and I'm just looking. I'm not in a hurry. You always got to stay calm. Just pick up whatever's around here. You're like, just fine. Think of uses you can need. It's like, well, I might need this later, and just pick it up. And even if you don't think you'll need it, grab it, because you'll be killing yourself later. And look, even as I pass, this bush right here is used to make Mormon tea. This one's kind of dead, but you pick the leaves off and you can boil them. And the tea this makes is excellent for helping you fight off stomach flus, and it actually has some medicinal properties too. If you are an asthmatic, the vapors that come off the boiling water can actually help you relieve your asthma attack. So that could be a lifesaver if that's important to you. So I'm just going to keep on walking, and I'll let you know if anything else happens. Alright, so I've hooked up with the river that I've been looking for. It's a dry riverbed. And I see the footprints of the rest of my family, so I know I'm going this way. I'm going to try to hook up with them, because you always want to have a fail-safe. Something really important to do is, if I get lost, I will try and make it here, if you are not going by car, especially for backpacking. And something really important about backpacking is bring more than you need. It's really important to have something when you need it instead of thinking about it. I went overkill on the knife today. I have one here, my Gerber drop point, has its full tang for batoning. I have a folding knife, I have my paraframe in my back pocket. I also have my Leatherman. Redundant systems. You don't want to be caught out here, especially somewhere as inhospitable as the desert. And it's hot out here. Bring plenty of water. I have over a gallon of water with me in my camel pack. You just don't want to be caught out here in the open. And especially too, if you are lost, walk somewhere like this. Walk in a riverbed. Because if someone's above flying, they're going to be able to see you. Yeah, and I see where I'm heading right now. And it's always good to know basic navigation skills. Just study over maps. Just look at the maps right before you leave. That way you know you have a mental picture in case something like your maps get lost. And one thing to stress, that especially now that technology is available, is people rely on their smartphones. And me personally, I have Top Geographic Map in my phone. But that battery at best lasts a day if I'm not using it to navigate. And it's just really, really bad if you get lost out here and you don't know where you are. However, you can definitely see why people come out here. It's just peaceful, it's quiet. But don't let nature fool you, especially in the desert. And there's plenty of good warnings up there. I mean, people get stuck up here all the time. And some of them don't make it. There's no water out here. You have to be self-sufficient. Rely on nothing but your skills and the stuff you have on your back. Probably one of the bigger predators we get in the lower part of the Mojave is coyote. And here's a print right here next to my hand. And you can see they're large, but bear in mind this is soft ground, so it's going to make the print a little bit bigger. And you can see they follow the riverbed just like you want to. And the riverbed's great because it's hot. And the riverbed, but because it's hot, you'll get a lot of, and it's like a highway too, through the rest of the desert. So you get snakes. Snakes like to sit out here and warm up, like to bury themselves in the sand. And pretty much all the animals use this. Cows will use this. And it just keeps everything, it's a really quick way to travel because out there's thorns and thick bush. And it's hard to get through, especially if you don't have the right equipment, like boots on or you're an animal with hooves. I'm pretty much there now. Alright, so I'm going to look for a place to set up a little day camp, and I will get back to you after that. One quick little tidbit. If you're trying to get out of somewhere and you're following footprints, you want to follow footprints that still have definition. You can see these are obviously like Vans or Converse or something like that, and that's, I know my brother is wearing a pair of shoes like that, and that's who I'm trying to follow. But if you're lost and you're trying to find a trail, you don't want to find prints like that, because they could, for one, go any direction. They could be animal, and they're old. But you know that these, I mean, after, especially in the wind over here, we're talking about half an hour, 15 minutes at the least, because this wind will start to blow it, and it'll get pretty destroyed. So I know I'm close. I'm gonna try to meet up with them. Alright, so I think I'm here. I'm in day camp, just checking for little critters. I think I'll stay here for a little bit, test out the area. So, in my pack today, I have my camel pack, that's what that straw is right there. And then I have just the basics. I have this tarp here, like 15 by 10 I believe, my survival shovel. And that's pretty much it for the inside compartment. I just wanted to pack light today. Outside, I have my tripod bag, leash for the dog, second camera, my Leatherman, never go anywhere without that. And that's pretty much it for the bag. I have 2 knives on me. I have my shemagh, which is probably one of the most important parts of my gear, and it was actually the cheapest. You can just use it to keep the sun off you or keep you warm. It's pretty helpful. One thing that's important when hiking, especially if you're hiking with someone, which you should always be doing, is learning how to whistle to get some of their attention. That way you guys never get separated. And even if you do, you can contact each other, especially when you don't have service. It's really bad to rely on technology because it'll fail you sometimes. So right now I'm going to find out where the rest of my family is. And they're over there. That pretty much concludes my day hike. I'm heading back to the car. Getting thirsty, wind's picking up. Pulling all the moisture out of me. So I'm gonna head home. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Have a good day.